Good morning, everyone. Today we're flying with Iberia in economy class from London Heathrow Terminal 5 over to Madrid. Our flight was scheduled for 9:15 in the morning, so as usual we left for the airport around 3 hours early. The sun was only just starting to come up, but Heathrow was already surprisingly busy. Today we were flying from Terminal 5, home to British Airways and many of the One World airlines. As soon as we arrived at Heathrow Terminal 5, we headed towards Area H, which are located next to the British Airways First Class, where the Iberia desks are located. I thought I could print my boarding pass at the British Airways kiosks, but they only work for British Airways, not Iberia. After coming through security, the airport was really busy. All the restaurants were packed, queues everywhere, and most of the seats were already taken. Flights were coming in and out one after another. Everything felt constant and fast-moving. Terminal 5 has loads of duty-free shops, restaurants, and places to explore, so it's actually quite easy to stay entertained while waiting for your flight. Honestly, for someone who loves aviation, this is actually a really fun place to just sit and watch planes all day. Small tip, there are 2 Pred A manger in Terminal 5. Most people use the main one, but there's another near Gate A3, usually quieter with seats overlooking the gates. I'd recommend that one instead. After spending some time plane spotting, it was finally time to head towards the gate. One thing to remember about Heathrow Terminal 5 is just how big it is. Depending on your gate, it can easily take 10 or 15 minutes to walk across the terminal. And if you're connecting onto long-haul flights with British Airways, like Japan or the US, you may even need to transfer to another terminal section completely. So definitely keep an eye on your gate information and give yourself enough time. Not long after arriving at the gate, boarding started and we made our way onto the aircraft. One thing I always enjoy when traveling is trying different airlines and experiencing their cabins, service, and overall atmosphere. This was actually my first time flying Iberia, and also my first time visiting Madrid. One of the first things I noticed after boarding was that the business class seats actually looked very similar to economy. Even the legroom seemed almost identical at first glance, although maybe I could be wrong. The seats themselves were clean and comfortable, finished in leather, and for a short 2-hour flight, they honestly felt perfectly fine. L had enough legroom, even with my backpack under the seat in front. The seat also had information explaining how to connect to the onboard Wi-Fi, plus both USB and USB-C charging ports, which was really nice to have. My wife actually flew to Madrid 2 days earlier on an Iberia A330, which normally operates long-haul flights and even had an entertainment system on board. Sometimes this route also gets A350s, so if you're lucky, especially in business class, the experience can be even better. But on our A320 Neo flight today, there wasn't an entertainment system. The flight was completely full, and once the doors were shut, we started getting ready for pushback. Today's flight from London Heathrow to Madrid covers around 145 kilometers, with a flight time of roughly 2 hours. Luckily, our gate was fairly close to the runway, so we didn't have a very long taxi out. The flight ended up leaving around 10 minutes late, but thankfully Heathrow was moving quickly that morning, so we reached the runway for takeoff surprisingly fast. After connecting to the Wi-Fi, a portal page opens where you can browse the onboard services and purchase internet access. For economy, it costs $4.50, while business class passengers get it for free. For this flight, I actually decided to pre-order a meal online 24 hours before the flight from Iberia website. I wanted to test Iberia's food experience properly. I ordered the poke salad, and honestly, what arrived looked much better than the photos online. The portion was actually surprisingly big, and it came with a chocolate cake and a Coke Zero as part of the meal package. For around 16 euros, it genuinely felt like pretty decent value for plain food. After eating, I relaxed for a while before I decided to take a quick look around the aircraft. One thing I noticed, and this probably depends on the aircraft configuration, is that the lavatories on some Airbus A320neo and A321neo aircraft can feel extremely small. For taller or larger passengers, they can honestly feel a bit tight and difficult to move around in. It's not every airline though. For example, when I flew Vietnam Airlines later on, their A321 bathrooms actually felt much more spacious. Not long after, the crew started collecting rubbish and preparing the cabin for landing. The aircraft slowly began descending towards Madrid, and the views outside started getting really beautiful. One thing I personally love during flights is that moment when the aircraft comes down through the clouds and the city slowly starts appearing below. Soon enough, Madrid finally appeared in the distance, and we continued our approach towards the airport. I'll leave the next few moments mostly uninterrupted so you can simply enjoy the landing views into Madrid. After landing, we slowly made our way off the aircraft and arrived into Madrid Terminal 4S. From here, you need to pass through immigration and then take the airport train across to the main Terminal 4 building before exiting. Overall, this was actually a really enjoyable flight. I genuinely liked Iberia's service, the crew, the aircraft itself, and even the food experience. And next time, we'll be flying back from Madrid to London in Iberia business class. So if you'd like to see what that experience is like, definitely stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next journey.